All right, let's dive in. We're talking about one of the wildest, most out there fan theories in the entire Star Wars universe. And it's a theory that says the single most hated character in the whole saga might actually be its ultimate villain.
So just think about this for a second. What if the character that everybody, and I mean everybody, wrote off as a clumsy, idiotic sidekick was actually a master manipulator? A powerful dark side user hiding right there in plain sight. Well, that is the incredible and honestly surprisingly convincing theory we're going to break down today.
Okay, but before we get into the whole conspiracy, we really have to set the stage. I mean, to even begin to understand this theory, you have to remember the sheer, overwhelming backlash against Jar Jar Binks. When The Phantom Menace came out, the reaction to Jar Jar was, well, it was immediate and it was brutal. He was seen as just grating, totally unfunny, a character made for kids that just shattered the tone of the movie. The backlash got so bad, his role in the next two films was cut way, way down. But here's the thing. The criticism wasn't just about him being annoying. Yeah, this backlash actually got pretty academic. Scholars like Dr. Rosalind Satchel even pointed out how some of Lucas's alien characters could be seen as reflecting some pretty harmful real-world stereotypes. So it added this whole other serious layer to the criticism. Everybody just saw Jar Jar as a huge mistake, but what if all of it, the annoyance, the clumsiness, even the controversy, what if it was all a deliberate distraction? And that brings us to the main event. A fan theory so good, it completely changes how you see the prequel trilogy. A theory that suggests we all fell for one of the biggest tricks in movie history. So the theory, in a nutshell, is this. Jar Jar Binks is not a fool. Not even close. He's a master of the Force, a super cunning political operator, and a willing partner to Darth Sidious, Chancellor Palpatine. That whole clumsy guy routine, it's all an act. An elaborate, brilliant act to keep him close to power, without anyone ever suspecting a thing. And you know where the seeds of this theory come from? George Lucas himself. Think about it. This whole idea of a deceptive master hiding in plain sight, that's a classic move he already pulled with Yoda, right? The little insignificant creature who turns out to be the master wizard. The Darth Jar Jar theory just says, what if he was the dark side's version of that? The goofy fool who's secretly one of the most powerful guys in the room. Okay, but is there any actual proof? Well, the people who believe in this theory have put together a ton of evidence, all pulled straight from the movies. And it all starts with Jar Jar's so-called clumsiness in battle. Seriously, go back and rewatch those battle scenes. Jar Jar's movements are suspicious, to say the least. He takes out battle droids with these accidents that look a lot like complex martial arts moves. He does these insane Force-like jumps, dodges blaster fire with impossible luck, and he even seems to sense a droideka appearing behind him without ever laying eyes on it. Come on, that's not just luck. That looks a whole lot like precognition, which we all know is a Force ability. And get this, there's actually a real-world martial art that perfectly mirrors Jar Jar's movements. It's called Drunken Fist Kung Fu. It's a fighting style where you pretend to be clumsy and off-balance to fool your opponent, but all your moves are actually super precise attacks. The whole thing is based on deception. Sound familiar at all? And when you actually put them side by side, the similarities are just uncanny. The swaying of Drunken Fist, that's Jar Jar knocking droids over. The leg sweeps, that's him tripping them. The staggering around, that's his stumbling. It really makes you wonder, right? Is this just a wild coincidence in the animation, or was his fighting style intentionally based on a martial art that's all about deception? But the evidence isn't just physical. Oh no, it gets political. We know for a fact from Count Dooku himself that Palpatine was secretly pulling strings in the Senate for years. And to do that, he would have needed a key ally on the inside, someone that nobody would ever suspect. Someone who could, influence people without them even knowing it was happening. I mean, just look at Jar Jar's political career path. Through a whole series of accidents, he winds up as a representative in the Senate. And then at the single most important moment, the tipping point, when Padme is gone, who steps up and proposes giving Palpatine emergency powers, the same powers that lead directly to the Clone Wars and the rise of the Empire? Jar Jar Binks. He is the political key that unlocks Palpatine's entire plan. Okay, but of course, for every piece of evidence, there's always a counterargument. So we've got to be fair and look at this from the other side. Why isn't this theory actually canon? Well, the official story is pretty simple. Lucasfilm has never, ever confirmed it. The real reason Jar Jar's part got smaller was just because audiences hated him. It's that simple. And all this evidence, the drunken fist stuff, the political moves, it could all just be fans seeing patterns that aren't really there, Just fitting the details to a really cool theory after the fact. I mean, the simplest explanation is usually the right one. He was just supposed to be comic relief, and it really didn't work.
But honestly, whether it's true or not, almost misses the bigger picture here. The fact that this theory has stuck around for so long tells us something really cool about stories and about us. It shows how we can take a franchise's biggest mistake and turn it into its most brilliant secret. And it shows how much we as fans just want to find a deeper meaning in the things we love.
So where does that leave us? What's the final verdict? Was Darth Jar Jar a brilliant idea that got scrapped because of the fan backlash? Is it all just a bunch of incredible coincidences that fans wove together into this amazing story? Or, and this is the fun one, are we looking at one of the most clever, most subversive hidden villains in movie history? A secret that's been hiding right under our noses for more than 20 years?
Look, at the end of the day, all this evidence makes rewatching the prequels a totally different experience. It really does. So I'm going to leave it up to you. What do you believe? Was Jar Jar Binks the real Phantom Menace, hiding in plain sight the entire time? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I really want to know what you think. Thanks for hanging out with me.